in his barrier trials over 800, he'll stay with him. So we'd like to see him a little bit closer. You don't want to be giving up a big start in these conditions. And I'd like to think he will be up there somewhere. So interesting race.
Good luck. I'll let you get a vantage point.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can you hear me, Simon and Jessica? I think you're still out there, aren't you, both of you?
Yep.
Has it eased the rain? I mean, I'm a little bit away from you guys at the moment. It still looks very wet. Has it eased a bit?
Well, we're like a couple of mushrooms under an umbrella at the moment at the mounting yard. It is easing. It's going to be a nice... Hopefully, it will clear for the race. It's just passing on through now, just a light shower, which is really good. We can see Hugh Bowman with his goggles. He's got plastic wrapping around his goggles, whereas a number of other jockeys have got their goggles tucked into their colours.
Yeah. Well, the rain keeps sabotaging our mounting yards, doesn't it, Simon? We come out here and try and have a good look at them, and then it starts absolutely pouring. But luckily, it is clearing just before the race. Winx is just about to head out onto the track. She's lovely on her toes, just as you want to see her. And I think she's taken a fitness improvement from her last couple of runs. We know she gets better with each run, as we saw when she won the Cox Plate. Remember, back in the spring, it was a few runs into her preparation, and she's getting bigger and better.
Well, trying to find a negative with her, but you never can. And today is exactly that same way. Apart from this really heavy track, it's just a little bit of history repeating. It's the same prep as last year. She's got the bounce in the mounting yard. She's swishing her tail when Hugh Bowman gets on. So it's all systems go for the freak.
And anything else that caught your eye? I mean, Chautauqua, Le Romain and Haraki, I guess, are probably the three that, if there is to be an upset, anything from those horses that caught your eye?
Chautauqua was getting a little bit warm in the yard, just a bit sweaty on the neck there. Le Romain, lovely and relaxed. I have to say Haraki caught my eye. He's looking really well muscled and ready for action here today. And McCreary's a funny one. Gosh, he is an absolute pony, but he's a tough one.
Well, speaking of Chautauqua, Cheska, I think we're in for a bit of a surprise. Let's go to Crown Bet with you, Ben. Who is the market mover?
Yeah, well, Winx is the best backed and obviously carries the hopes of the nation. But in terms of a move, Chautauqua is the one that they are backing late. It's gone $8 into $7.50, and there's plenty who are keen to take on the champ here.
So, surprise here. Peter Moody's just rejoined me. That was magnificent stuff with you and Chris, by the way, Peter. Absolutely love that. She's the long... Take away the Cox Plate. She's actually getting to odds that we haven't seen before. I know she drifted in the Chippy Norton, but she's out to $1.30 officially now. I guess it's just... Is it just the weather, Pete, do you reckon?
That's the only doubt that could be in people's minds. You know, she's just got too much on this field. She's proven that she's unbeatable in this grade. So people are maybe just banking on the unbelievable conditions she's faced with today, which none of these horses would have experienced.
Chris was uptight. There's no... I mean, you saw it firsthand. He was so... It was a beautiful shot, by the way, the two of you together. You know, to have the two great ones together. Were you surprised how nervy he was?
No, listen, I've been there, experienced it. It's a pain on the backside, but he'd agree with me. You wouldn't change it for anything in the world. But his job's done. He's presented her magnificently. She looks outstanding. She looks the queen that she is. She's paraded beautifully. Let's hope the conditions don't take away from her brilliance.
Pete, did Black Caviar run on a track like this ever?
Never saw it. 25 times to the races.
Would have you been nervous running on a track like this?
In her physical condition, yes. Where Winx, I don't think, probably has the ailments or carried the ailments. I'm not taking away from her, don't get me wrong. I would have been genuine concern under these conditions. But this filly, probably a sounder proposition. Hopefully it doesn't take away from it.
When you look at this filly, you're such a horseman. I mean, does she look different to you? To us, we know she's a champion, so she looks better than she would if she wasn't a champion. What takes your eye?
Well, she's not, you know, she doesn't stand out in the crowd. She's a beautiful athlete. She looks magnificent. She's got a great depth of girth. She's got a great hind quarter. You know, just a great mannerism, but an unbelievable ability that's hidden in there somewhere that we'd all like to know how to discover.
Well, Chautauqua's got a bit of that himself, has he? Hey, Richo, you've got Michael Hawkes.
Cool. You might be the villain here. You might be able to spoil the party for Winx. What's going through your mind?
Oh, look, we're pretty relaxed, to be honest. There's really no pressure on us. You know, obviously Winx is a fair mare to get past, and obviously for 16 straight. But you know, we've thought we've got the bloke that, you know, can really test her if he has to. But look, she's a champion in her own right, and so is our bloke. So look, we're just happy he's here. He's in one piece. Obviously, we've got to get through the ground testing, 1500. But look, we couldn't have many better for today, Richo.
Is that 1500 on this testing ground? That's close to a mile. In your mind, in your heart of hearts, does he run that trip?
Yeah, look, I think he does. You know, last start in the Canterbury Stakes at Randwick, it was a bog, and you know, the further he went, Tommy said, the better where he was, and even track work's just given us those bit of guides. And until you're really tested, you don't know. But in saying that, it is testing times. It's like a mile out there, but obviously the mare, she gets over ground. We're yet to be proven in the ground, but look, it's going to be a great race. I hope they're head and head, you know, all the way up the straight, and the crowd's cheering.
Well, I'll let you get a vantage point. Thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
I reckon it's fair to say if Chautauqua was coming to this race off his Hong Kong win, which was off his TJ Smith, and hadn't a run in between, you'd be giving him a serious chance, because in Hong Kong he was the best sprinter in the world.
He was, but that was when he was very good at sprinting. And now there's a bit of a change in tactics, isn't there? Stepping him up over further, because it looks in his last few races like he wants further.
Sounds good, but he's not Macca, and he's meeting a freak today.
And this is probably 1,800 today, 1,500 under these extreme conditions.
So that's going to suit Winx, isn't it?
Most definitely. Placed in her hand.
Yeah. So is anyone nervous? I mean, we feel like the whole nation's involved, like we did Pete for Black Caviar. The whole nation's involved in the next minute or two. I mean, the story is either 16 straight or it's one of the greatest upsets in Australian racing. Is anyone sitting here nervous that she might lose?
Sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, I just think she's an absolute freak. It's an advantage. She's playing on her home track in the worst track and elements that she's ever met in terms of heavy conditions, but that's her advantage.
Well, you guys are all very cool. I'm nervous she's going to lose, because like with all these great champions, you never want to see them lose, and horses are not machines. There are times when they can lose.
Hugh Bowman, he pilots this mare. He knows her so well. He's drawn the outside barrier. Watch his moves. He'll be trying to keep her out of trouble early with this speed on and just give her clear space.
It's a national event every time she runs now. She's about to go. Winx, the George Ryder.
These two great horses will challenge the mare Winx today. $1.24 is the quote. She goes in, the rain is cleared. The light is on for the George Ryder. Winx looking to make it back-to-back wins in the race. They're set and they're racing, and Winx just jumped a little bit awkwardly. She's going to settle back last, and Libaz won the start. Le Romain's going to take up a very forward role, and Le Romain goes to second. Haraki's close, so is Sylphied, and Winx is staying off the track. On the outside of Chautauqua, and McQuarrie settles last, 1,200 out. Libaz in front, Le Romain second, Haraki in third, and Winx is inching closer. Striding up into fourth now from Sylphied. Then Chautauqua, a length off the great mare, and McCreary's last of all. 1,000 metres out, Libaz in front. The Canterbury Stakes winner, Le Romain, does the chasing to the roughie. Then Haraki a bit closer today in third. Winx is covering a bit of ground, staying out of the kickback. Then came Sylphied from McCreary, and Chautauqua's last on the inside of Sylphied. So Chautauqua's got to stay on the fence. Winx is about 3 or 4 horses off it, and Libaz the leader, racing to the 600 metres, 3 in front. Schofield just gives Le Romain a squeeze in second. Winx on the bridle just strides up to third. Then Haraki, and Chautauqua will have to cut the corner. The crowd starting to left. Le Romain takes the lead. Winx is just cruising up on the outside. It's Le Romain and Winx, and Bowman sits motionless yet again. Look at her rip clear inside the 200. Le Romain can't go on, nor Haraki. Chautauqua out of the pack, but all conditions, all distances, all challenges. Here's Sweet 16 for Winx, making it back-to-back wins in the George Ryder. Le Romain 6 lengths away second, Chautauqua third, Haraki fourth, then Sylphied, followed in by McCreary, and the leader, Libaz, finished last.
How lucky we are. How privileged it is. I mean, we are all just bursting in here, aren't we? I mean, we cannot believe what we're seeing. Look, you compare all the champs over there. All you know that when you see her do this and win her 2 Cox Plates, you just know on that day, you've never seen a horse that could beat her on that day. I've seen nothing that could beat her in all the time I've been in racing, the way she's winning. Would you agree, Pete?
It's just unbelievable. You know, she's the queen. It was a pleasure to watch. It was great to be here and experience it. It was effortless. She travelled so sweetly. You know, Huey surprisingly gave her a little shake the last 100, but she was 7 or 8 in front.
We'll watch the start, Pete. To me, champions are defined by winning in each state of Australia, maybe travelling the world, winning on good tracks and on bog tracks like this. Huey Bowman was a little slow out of the gate. He said, I'm going to keep you 3 deep, big girl, and I'm going to just give you confidence. I'm going to follow Le Romain because you're my one to beat. And then I'm going to sing you a little song as I get to the 300. And then when he just opens up his hand, he sings, Leave and on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back.
Hey, Pete, this is a 16th.
Bang!
This is a
That's what
16th.
you love about a champion, Macca.
This is the 16th time we've heard this, Pete, but I don't get sick of it. What do you reckon,
Look at the way
Cheska?
she makes really good horses look so ordinary. Le Romain second, Chautauqua third, but by a distance and on a bog track, it's unbelievable what she can do.
Richo, I'm going to you. You're with Chris Waller.
Well, Chris, sweet 16. She was sublime today. Congratulations.
Yeah, she's always pretty sweet in our eyes, but a lot of pressure to bring her, and it was good to see her win like that. Didn't expect her to win like that. It's just amazing horse.
Huey gives you so much confidence, though, the way he sits so quietly on it. He knows what's underneath the hood. I suppose that makes it easier for you.
Yeah, it does. His only instructions were to keep her safe, and that's holding it together. And fortunately, she races well like that, and that's how it is.
This is your biggest trophy, I think.
Yeah.
This is your biggest prize, you're right.
Yeah, family, friends.
She was superb there. She's absolutely bolted in, onwards and upwards.
Expectation out there and the industry expectation. And Chris would be fielding calls from all over the world and the connections. It's hard to enjoy. He'll enjoy it when it's over, unfortunately. Not at the moment.
The whole career, you mean? Okay.
And Hugh likewise.
Well, Pete's got something really interesting about Winx. I'll get it out of him in a moment. You love it, don't you? You never get tired of it. You never get tired of it. And here's Chris. That Pete is talking about the fact that it's a little bit of relief, but the build-up starts already for the Queen Elizabeth. Hey, Ben, we go to you. Well, she's done it again, Ben. I know you're going to give us the blamey, and maybe a horse that could be an X factor through the championships and Toast and Stunner, but she's done it again.